Boys and girls, before school closed a couple of weeks ago, we had completed our first writing, our fictional writing. And then in the 2 weeks since then, hopefully you've all finished your second story. Now, as we get ready for our third, and we're still writing about a realistic character in a realistic setting, so there's no fantasy here. There are no talking frogs or walking cupcakes or anything like that. It's a story about somebody who could have a problem like we do. Okay. I noticed in all of your stories that you have characters who speak, and that's wonderful. To, to do this correctly in our writing, we need to use quotation marks. Let's take a look at them. First, we have these here, and these are called the opening quotation marks. Some people call them the sixes. Can you guess why? Because they look like the number 6. Then, on the other side, we have the closed quotation marks, and people call them the nines, right? And these are really important. They can be used for lots of different things, but basically, we use them to show when someone is speaking. So just like the colon that I showed you in Magic Treehouse that tells you, hey, get ready, something special's coming. The quotes tell you to prepare for something that somebody really is saying. Let me show you what I mean. We use quotation marks to say exactly what someone said. John said he would be late. Okay, John didn't use those exact words. Really, he said this. John said, comma, opening quote. Now we know that the words that come after that were really his words. I will be late. And then, because that's the end of the sentence, we have our period and we have our closing quote. You could also do this. Open quote. I will be late, comma, because the sentence is not finished. Closed quote or closing quote, said John. And there is the period, because that's really the end of the sentence. If you want to write this way, that's fine. But if you're going to use the character's real words, you must use quotation marks. It's really important. Okay? Let's look at what we do with questions. Jen asked if Bob could play the trumpet. Okay, that's a great sentence. There's nothing wrong with that. But those are not really Jen's words. Jen's words are here. Jen asked, comma, and then the quotes. Can you play the trumpet? It's a question. And that's all she said. So we lock it up with those closing quotes. We can also do this. Open quotes. Can you play the trumpet? Question mark. And then we close the quotes. Asked Jen. And there's our period. I know it's a little complicated, but if you just follow this pattern, you'll get it right almost every single time. And you have seen this many, many times. Here's something from the Magic Treehouse, from the one that we just read. Open quote. We have to leave you now, comma. Closed quote. Jack said to the mouse, period. Open quote. Can't we take her with us? Question mark. Closed quote, said Annie. No. So Jack used the word no. No, comma, closed quote. Said Jack, open quote, somebody speaking. Mom won't let us keep a mouse in the house. She doesn't like mice. Remember? Oh, it goes all the way to the end. Question mark? Quotation marks. And you'll notice it didn't say Jack said. We don't need to do that again because Jack is speaking here. All of this is Jack. So we don't need to say Jack said and then Annie said and then Jack said and then Annie said. Sometimes we can imagine who's speaking. And since Jack just finished speaking, who is speaking now? How could anyone not like a mouse? Open quotes. It's a question. Closed quotes. And the period. Jack smiled. Open quotes. It's his turn to speak because Annie just spoke. Okay, so as you read books, look for how authors are using quotation marks and try to use them in your next writing. Mr. Plementure said, "The end."